Right, so let's go on from violence and let's go into marriage. You should spend at least 2 years dating before getting married.
Oh. Oh wait.
Art catches me out at it and going,
Double thumbs up. Hold up. Give him the stage. Give him the mic.
Drew thinks you should spend 4 years.
I think you shouldn't get married.
You shouldn't get married.
Yeah, I'm being extremist. You should take a long time for sure, I think.
I'm also not really into getting married.
I was going to say, I mean, I am a married person, but I also don't necessarily believe in the institution of marriage. That, I mean, neither I nor my spouse do. It's something we did because it's fun and we get a tax break, but
a lot of people tell me they're married because of taxes or that they will get married if it's right because of taxes. And I think that's not how it's supposed to be. Also, marriage now really different than this time, Shakespeare time, in which no one should be married because it's all about owning a person.
Yeah, certainly through most of history, it was a matter of ownership and legitimately survival.
And also, I mean, actually, like, kind of not that different from now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll say with the taxes thing, part of that is just, I mean, now as then, the state has a vested interest in encouraging people to get married. I mean,
which is weird. Why?
Well, because in general, right? I mean, now we're just getting into sociology. Generally speaking, though, and this is much more true of men than women, but married men are much less likely to commit crimes. They are much less likely to engage in violent behaviors. Generally speaking, when marriage goes up, you see better economic outputs. And then the most important thing is married couples are more likely to have children, which in the context of the economy, and I'm going to say here the capitalist economy, but on some level, fundamentally any economy, there need to be people in the economy. And if you provide social services, if people aren't popping out kids and more kids than there are old people, right? You get the inverted pyramid that's putting the strain on like social systems in Japan. So pretty much just top to bottom, the state has a reason to encourage marriage one way or the other. And I will say here, obviously there's the traditional moralist element that means marriage between two heterosexual cis-identified people who are going to pump out biological kids. Even in the case of what we'll term non-traditional marriages, you still see things like better health outcomes and by extension less healthcare expenditures, less violence. So in that sense, it's a lot the same of marriage has benefits. It's the kind of thing that society at large is concerned with. But yeah, obviously much less dramatic nowadays, especially since you can get prenuptials.
Let's roll this back to like the amount of time spent dating. So spoiler.
Oh, I can talk on that. I think 2 years is good because people change a lot. And dating isn't about dating the person you met. It's about dating the person they're becoming, who still wants to date the person you're becoming. And I think 2 years is a fair amount of time to see how people change. The 2 years in any person's life from almost any age range is significant, I think.
What if those 2 years are entirely during a pandemic?
No, that's
because I feel like
that's so important.
I feel like if you start getting together early pandemic, you're still together now. That doesn't really tell you a lot about what you're like outside of like this time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of my...
You're saying 4 years, right? You're saying at least 2 still. You're saying you would want more and not just like 1 year in a pandemic. So I think we're agreeing, right, on that. 2 is, if anything, the baseline maybe where we like 5 years, do it.
Well, I was going to say, my kind of wishy-washy is I think it's less about a fixed amount of time, but I think 2 things. One, you should at least get through every phase of the year so you know what they're like all year round. Second part being, I think just living with them through at least one major life transition, be that moving, graduating high school, going to college, graduating college, entering the workforce, because it's the kind of thing where just fundamentally a whole lot can change at any given moment, and the way that someone's material conditions inform their behavior. I mean, I would trust and also probably hope that plenty of us know people who started acting very differently once they graduated college and got into the working world. And if you are pegging your life to that person, that's the kind of thing of, if your relationship can stand a big shift, like your kind of underlying core characters and wants still align, then that, that's a solid basis. Now, it's unlikely that that's going to happen in like 13 months, but if it did, maybe.
I mean, it does in our age, man.
Yeah, forget years, just 2 crises. They'll happen in 3 months of each other.
Also, like, this does say should be dating and doesn't incorporate should live together, which is like
that's a good
fairly
point.
modern in concept that you live together usually before you get married. But if this said you should live together for 2 years before getting married, I'd say that's even better, like closer to.
I would thumbs up that.
Only one thumbs up.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, you know what? Can I borrow your thumb?
Can I borrow your thumb?
I would triple thumbs up that.
Oh,
Wow.
surprise
We
thumb.
established
We're
the
cohabitating.